You know, we've talked a lot about drivers and trainers, and we will throughout the evening, people that get a great deal of recognition. But there are so many tireless individuals who are responsible for getting a horse to the races. Brad Diamond takes us on a behind-the-scenes journey to meet one such individual who doesn't get much attention.
Horse racing offers rich rewards for owners, drivers, and trainers. But the real stars are the men and women who tend them around the clock to ensure they step on the racetrack happy, healthy, and sound.
Yeah, you really got to enjoy it, or, you know, you don't last in the business, one or the other. It's like other people's addictions. You like being outside. I was raised on a farm. I like horses. And it's not really a 9-to-5 job. You don't have to dress up to go to work. So, you know, there's a lot of things that go into working here and continuing to work with the racehorses. Some people just get into it for a few years and then really find out they don't like it, or they find that niche in life that is calling them. So I guess I haven't found mine yet.
Equine care is a 24-hour-a-day responsibility with no vacations, no weekends off, and no calling in sick. And since horses are like people, they're individuals. You can't treat every horse the same way.
They're just like children, you know, that everyone has their own distinctive personality and their own quirks, whether they like to eat certain things or whether they don't like to walk in water, they don't want to go on the track when it's dark. Everyone has different traits about them, yeah. I'm never one to, you know, brag about what my horses do. They do their best, you know. Maybe they aren't up to super quality, but, you know, they just do their best. And as long as they do their best, then I'm satisfied.
Super Arnie is going to win it.
But with all the hard work comes occasional glory and the sought-after trip to the winner's circle. But the rewards, although gratifying, are brief.
When you win a big race, it's something you really remember, but it only lasts for a second. Because as soon as that's over with, you've got to go cool the horse out, clean the equipment, and put everything away and make sure the horse is okay. If you were an owner, yeah, you can go out and party and you have a good time and go to bed, but I have a lot of work after a horse does good in a race. You know, whether he does good or bad, you have a lot of work to do.
It's a demanding job, and it's not for everyone. There's little recognition and not a lot of financial return. But the bond between a caretaker and a racehorse is often a long-lasting one, and that in itself is a rich reward.
So thus far, we've seen some overwhelming favorites. We've seen some fine performances. But coming up next in our 6th race tonight, the 3-year-old Colt and Gelding Trot, we might see the most competitive field that we're going to see all night. 11 Colts will be doing battle, and it should indeed be an interesting confrontation. We'll return to set up the 6th in a moment. Tonight's 6th race of the Breeders' Crown. It is the 3-year-old Colt and Gelding Trot, and number 1 is Lender Hanover.
Lender Hanover, Bruce, a 3-year-old son of practice, only 1 start last year as a 2-year-old, and this year's had 14 starts, earned $100,000.
And the driver is Jan Nordin. He won this event with Baltic Speed back in 1984. Number 2 in the post parade is Gene Somali.
Gene Somali played second fiddle to Carl Allen's other colt, Royal Troubadour, last year and this year, and that one was retired after the Hambletonian, so that's all Gene Somali.
And the driver is Rod Allen, a member of the distinguished Allen racing family, seeking his first crown victory tonight. Here's a good look at Rod Allen, 34 years of age, from Ocala, Florida. Number 3 is Star Mystic.
Star Mystic was hot at the beginning of the year, winning first 6 of 8 starts in 90, but was kind of dull around the Hambo time, and he hasn't raced since his 3-heat win over Gene Somali in the Kentucky Futurity.
The driver trainer is Jan Johnson, who is in the bike representing the powerful Continental stable. Number 4 is Sambuca Lobell.
Sambuca Lobell, a son of Speedy Crown, winner of $300,000 lifetime, a majority of that on the New York Sire Stakes circuit.
Finish rangeman Pekka Korpi is the pilot. He's won more than 2,500 races in his career. Number 5 is Meadow Branch Eddie.
Well, Meadow Branch Eddie, another practice colt, second to Royal Troubadour in last year's Breeders' Crown for 2-year-old colts. He's been a little bit flat lately, Bruce.
Ron Waples, the upset king of the Breeders' Crown, has already won 5 events in this prestigious series, and he won 1 tonight. Number 6 is Embassy Lobell.
Embassy Lobell has not raced since his 5th place finish in the first heat of the Kentucky Futurity, and that was his first out-of-the-money finish in 15 starts this year.
Mike LeChance, one of the world's greatest drivers, is looking for his first crown with a trotter. Number 7 in this large field is Armbro Index.
Well, Armbro Index is trained by Ted Andrews, who had 1984 Horse of the Year Fancy Crown, a winner of the 3-year-old filly trot for the Breeders' Crown, but I don't think he's got the same thing here.
Armbro Index on the board in 11 of 28 starts this year, and Bill O'Donnell is the man behind this mare. He's won over $71 million in his career. Number 8 is Armbro Iliad.
They call him the bionic hoofed horse. He's had some foot problems, and they were able to get some help for him, and it seems to have worked.
The driver, John Campbell, whose career is well documented. He's earned around $90 million in purses. Number 9 is Cheyenne Spur.
Well, Dickie Stillings won this event last year with the eventual 3-year-old Colt Trotter of the Year Esquire's Spur, and Cheyenne Spur has been better this year, and he might be there, but it'll be a tough route for him.
And Dick Stillings, based primarily in the Pennsylvania area, is one of the best and most underrated drivers in the world. Number 10 in this field, the 3-year-old Colt and Gelding Trot, is Columnist.
Stablemate to Harmonious, leading 3-year-old trotter and Hambletonian winner. He's come into his own recently, Columnist, and he finished 1st through 2nd in his last 7 of 8 starts.
One of the Meadowlands' best, Cat Manzi, gets the assignment and looks for his first Breeders' Crown triumph. And completing the field is number 11, Super Arnie.
Well, Super Arnie was sidelined for a portion of the year earlier on in the year due to foot problems as well. He was the beaten favorite in last year's Breeders' Crown 2-year-old Colt Trot. He certainly has speed, Bruce, but I don't know about his chances here.
And the driver is Bernd Lindstedt, who we saw earlier tonight. He's driven Super Arnie in all 25 of this Colt's lifetime starts. So there's a look at the rather large field for the 3-year-old Colt and Gelding Trot. We'll be back further to set up this race in just a moment. Here are the odds for the 3-year-old Colt and Gelding Trot right now. Lender Hanover with the rail at 20-1. Gene Somali bet down to 8-5, and Gene Somali getting a lot of action. Star Mystic is 5-1. Embassy Lobell is listed at 3-1. And taking a look at the rest of this field, as you can see, Armbro Iliad is getting some money, and rightfully so, at 6-1. And the rest of the group, pretty big numbers on the tote board. So as we mentioned earlier, this is a deep field. It is talented. You can't pick one horse and say they're the best. Here are the top contenders.
This year's 3-year-old Colt Trot appears to be a wide-open affair with a large field of 11 making good early position of utmost importance. But positioning wasn't quite as important when Greg Coleman's Star Mystic captured the 2nd heat of the Kentucky Futurity at the Red Mile, notching a 154-3 lifetime best and going on to win the race off to claim the 3rd leg in Trotting's Triple Crown in 155-3. The son of Mystic Park is well placed for the start tonight, drawing the 3-post for driver John Johnson.
Somali, Super Arnie still second at the wire. Star Mystic.
Embassy Lobell has had a good year for LPG Standardbred Associates, as evidenced by the Speedy Crown's Colt's $790,000 in seasonal earnings. In the first heat of the Hambletonian in August, Embassy Lobell appeared hopelessly locked in, well back in the pack as they turned for home. But thanks to a patient drive by Mike LeChance and that long Meadowlands stretch, Embassy Lobell was able to find clearance to the outside and come on strong for the win. He's okay here, post 6 in the first tier. Columnist, whose strong surge has come on late this year, did just that in a recent start at Pompano Park. The son of Speedy Crown came from off the pace to collar the front-stepping Teddy's Toy at the wire in an open trot in 158. This Colt's got the services of the talented Cat Manzi, but post 10 in the 2nd tier is indeed a disadvantage. And Gene Somali is a colt who's had some hard luck in big races this year, but one that always must be considered as a top contender. Seen here winning the first heat of the Kentucky Futurity in a personal best 154-2 effort, this speedy Somali colt went down to a neck defeat at the hands of Star Mystic in the race-off. With Rod Allen at the lines, Gene Somali is in great position here with post number 2. A bulky field in the 3-year-old Colt trot makes that early speed ever so crucial.
And there's a look at Gene Somali, who right now on the board is being held at 3-1. Second in the Kentucky Futurity race-off and driven tonight by Rod Allen. Well, we want to check in right now with a gentleman who is very involved with the Canadian side of harness racing. Let's check in the paddock area with Brad Diamond.
Well, thanks a lot, Bruce. And standing with me right now is a man I think who is experiencing mixed feelings. He has Carl Allen, and last year he won the 2-year-old Colt Trot here at the Breeders' Crown with Royal Troubadour. He was injured this year, is now preparing to stand stud. But you still have something to cheer about tonight, Carl. Tell us about that.
Well, I have 2 in here because I have a son that I've trained and I have a horse that I've trained. So at least it gives me a shot to win twice tonight. And it's a little easier setting out there than it is here. I feel more butterflies here than I do out there because now I don't have no control of what's going on out there. But the horse is ready and he's ready. So we've prepared for the battle, and victory must come from God. So we'll see what happens.
Gene Somali has won 4 of the last 6, and the horse that beat him both times, of course, was Star Mystic. Is he the horse that Rod's going to be worried about?
No, sir. I didn't like the way he warmed up too much, and I think that Embassy Lobell is a horse we have to beat. He warmed up super sharp and looked awful good tonight, and I think that he's a horse we have to contend with.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you.
All right, now let's go back to Bruce.
So irony plays a big part in standardbred racing, and I know Carl Allen has mixed feelings tonight. The track and world record for this race, 154-1. It is held by Mac Lobell. He did it in the Breeders' Crown in 1987. And here's a look at the tote board with Star Mystic right now being held at 9-2. Embassy Lobell bet down from 9-2 to 2-1 with Mike LeChance driving. And Armbro Iliad is getting some action with John Campbell at 6-1. So one of the reasons, Gary, Embassy Lobell is bet down, perhaps just because of the consistency, 14 for 15 on the board this year?
I think so. Also the fact, Bruce, the horse has earned about $800,000 this year. A lot of people look on the right-hand side of the page. They see a mark of 154-4. That places him right up there with many of the horses in this race. And the services of Mike LeChance certainly don't hurt, rather. Mike is quite a reinsman, and now he's down to 8-5, so it looks like Embassy Lobell is indeed taking a lot of late money here.
I'll tell you something the betting public may not know. This is the first race ever for Embassy Lobell on a 5/8 mile track, and that could be a significant factor. He was second in the Hambletonian, the second fastest Hambletonian ever, won a division of the Swag, so we know he can race at a 1 mile oval. This will be his first test on a 5/8 mile oval. We'll see if that's a consideration in tonight's race. 9-2 in the morning line, Embassy Lobell, and bet down heavily to 8-5, the public's choice right now.
Well, I guess that means somebody knows something, Bruce, or at least they think they know something anyhow about Embassy Lobell. But he is certainly a contender in this race. But as we said, it is a wide-open affair.
And don't forget, Harmonious was not in this group, scratched as far as becoming a possible participant because of fatigue this year. Harmonious was the Hambletonian winner, but we still have an outstanding field. And track announcer Tom Durkin will call it for us wire to wire. Tom?
Field in behind the gate and moving well. The second choice at this point, not taking that late money, is Gene Somali, now at 3-1. And of course, as you mentioned, that late money appearing on the board on Embassy Lobell. Gate picking up speed. And lagging well behind the field here is Columnist. He's lagging 6 lengths off the gate. And
gentlemen, a recall. Take him out.
the recall is up. We have a recall. This is a recall. Well, some issue at the starting gate. The starter has called for a recall. Let's take it down to you guys. Perhaps you can pick it up on a replay there. Something happening in the outer portion of the starting gate with the 7, 8, and 9 horses. And the recall, we have the judges to tell me the reason for the recall right now. There is interference between number 8, Armbro Iliad, and number 9, Cheyenne Spur. When you have a recall, it is caused for any number of reasons. Sometimes there is interference, which is the case, as happened here. Two horses interfering, thus not allowing a safe and a fair start for all. The starter has the option before the start of the race to flick that red flashing light indicating to the drivers that there will be another start of the race. So once again, and there are the reasons that you see, the various reasons for the recall there. And then in this particular case, there was interference between Armbro Iliad and Cheyenne Spur. Now the horses are settled down in behind the gate. Once again, we'll throw it back to you guys as they take one more turn around the oval here.
So, Gary, this is a rarity at Pompano Park. You're here throughout the year almost every night, and do you see this very often?
You see it on occasion, Bruce, and of course for one of those 4 reasons. You usually see a lot of it for broken equipment, but this was a case of interference before the start, and you did see the 4 reasons. A horse scores in front of the gate, falls down, or whatever.
So they are assembled once again. Columnist is well back of the pack, having some problems getting on gate. 2 horses also way outside right because of the breakers, and we're standing by now for the Colt and Gelding trot, and Tom Durkin is set once again, and let's go up to Tom for the call.
Okay, Columnist once again was very rank approaching the starting gate, but he is settled down now. Super Arnie is also leaving from the second tier, and now the gate picking up pace here. Gate accelerating, ready for the start, and they're off. And then down inside, it's Lender Hanover now is out to take the early lead. And moving through in between horses, Sambuca Lobell now, who emerges with the lead and dashes, clears the field, hits the first turn. Meadow Branchetti is parked second. Meadow Branchetti is out there now racing, and he goes on a break. Meadow Branchetti has gone off stride, and that leaves Sambuca Lobell with a clear 5-length lead. And then farther back, that is Star Mystic, who was taken to the outside. Cheyenne Spur had to go wide to avoid the breaking horse. And the first quarter went in a sharp 27 2/5 seconds. And Sambuca Lobell did it all alone. Cheyenne Spur now charging hard in second. Lender Hanover is now racing in third position. Armbro Iliad is trotting well. Now racing in fourth. Columnist is racing in fifth. Then it's Gene Somali is now sixth toward the inside. Farther back, it's Embassy Lobell on the outside for the inside. Armbro Index, and we have another breaker there as Sambuca Lobell is gone off stride. Sambuca Lobell's gone on a break, so Cheyenne Spur leads the way. Campbell coming with Armbro Iliad now, and he's charging on the outside up after the lead. Lender Hanover just in behind the lead at the inside third. Columnist is up close now racing in fourth position. On the outside, that is Jeannie Somali. Jeannie Somali now is trotting well, finding best stride about 5 lengths off the lead than Armbro Index. Embassy Lobell and Michelle O'Shantz asking Embassy Lobell for more, and there he goes with a 3-wide sweep. And then farther back on the inside, it's Star Mystic, who is now followed by Meadow Branchetti, who's dropping well out of it, and they're coming to the top of the lane. The 3/4 mark was 1:26.3. The field now turns for home as Campbell goes to the whip. Armbro Iliad leading. Here comes Embassy Lobell gobbling up ground with every stride and takes the lead. Embassy Lobell in front. Gene Somali is right there. Embassy Lobell holding on to win it by a diminishing length. Jeannie Somali was coming up second, and Armbro Iliad was third. Several breaking horses all the way around the course here, but Embassy Lobell was perfect all the way, and he got a perfect drive tonight from Mike LaChance as the 9-5 favorite.
What an improving colt at 3 years old. Embassy Lobell, who was 0 for 3 last year, has been in the money 14 of 15 this year, proved that the public was right and showed he could handle a 5/8 mile track with no problem. How sharp was he? 156 4, and he had it all measured every step of the way, did Mike LaChance.
Well, Bruce, the little horse won the big one here. Embassy Lobell on the smaller side, but not tonight. He stands tall this evening. And, of course, the fraction set up pretty well for him. 27 2 opening quarter, 56 to the half. They got a breather in that third quarter, but nonetheless, 126 1 3/4. They're going at a pretty good clip, and the horses on the front end. And in this case, Armbro Iliad, as they began to turn for home, you could see that he began to shorten stride. And there was Embassy Lobell coming on with his patented late charge.
And Embassy Lobell this year in his first start at the Meadowlands in an overnight broke, spotted the field 20 lengths and came back to win in a sensational effort. And Bob Hayden, the brilliant handicapper and statistician at the Meadowlands, said it was reminiscent of Mac Lobell. He looked like Mac tonight with that powerful effort in the stretch to win the 3-year-old Colt trot. And Embassy Lobell is the winner in the Breeders' Crown. We are at Pompano Park in Pompano Beach, Florida. I'm Bruce Beck, along with me, Gary Seibel. We look at Embassy Lobell, unofficial winner of the 3-year-old Colt and gelding trot. He was the favorite in this race. His time was impressive. And Gary, he did everything he had to do.
And he did it perfectly tonight, Bruce. And one of the reasons he did it perfectly is because Mike LaChance did it perfectly. And he waited till just the right time and made the big move. And came on and looked superb.
Gary, lots of breaks in that last trot. Why so often do we see trotters break stride?
Well, it doesn't surprise me. I'm actually kind of surprised that we didn't see quite the same number of breaks in the 3-year-old filly trot. But when you have a large field like that, and there's 10, 11, 12 horses heading into a turn, and they start going off stride, they tend to get spooked a little bit, and such a large field does oftentimes cause horses to make breaks. They're racing wide into the turn, especially for a trotter. That's a little bit more difficult. And when a break does occur, a driver, if clearance exists, must take that horse to the outside. He cannot gain any ground on the field while he's on a break, and if he can, he must get the horse back on stride. He can, again, come on and win the race.
Let's go down to John Pavlak in the winner's circle.
Thank you much. I'm here with Michelle Lachance, winning driver here in the Breeders' Crown. And Michelle, your strategy was to let things sort themselves out early.
Yes, well, I know there was going to be a lot of traffic, and I know my horse is very handy to drive, and he's honest. He gives you everything he's got. So, you know, I was hoping for a trip, and I got a kind of a rough trip, but the horse was at his best tonight. That's the best race he won so far this year.
Well, Sambuca Lobell is going to the quarter in 27-2. You're out in the middle of the racetrack, just biding your time, though.
Yeah, well, I was thinking my time, but I know they were cutting a decent fraction, so I wasn't too nervous about it. So, and when I moved in the back stretch, then I went 3 wide in the last turn. He was real strong at the end there. Just an unbelievable race for him.
It was all over in the stretch for you. Let's get Lou Gaida in here. Lou Gaida, the principal owner for LPG Associates.
Let me say hello to Claude Gates.
Claude Gates, hello to you. He was tremendous on Hambletonian Day, but today was icing on the cake.
Yes, certainly was, and Mike drove him beautiful. The horse is great. And the horse is now going to France with Claude Gage.
So we have some news. Will we perhaps follow him there and hopefully be back here?
Yeah.
Yes, next year we'll be back here for the Breeders' Crown.
Gentlemen, congratulations all around. A super effort in the 3-year-old Colt trot. Congratulations.
Let me say hello to my wife and my grandfather who's in the hospital back at home. Hello, everybody.
I bet he's feeling better, Lou. Back to you, Bruce.
So the 3-year-old Speedy Crown out of the Lindsay's Pride mare Elmsford, Embassy Lobell, returning 560, 360, and 260. Jeannie Somali second, 380 and 280. Armbro Iliad, $4 to show. Trifecta, $93.80, and the numbers would have been 6, 2, and 8. And congratulations to trainer Jerry Reardon, who used to work with Chuck Sylvester and Mac Lobell.
And of course, Jerry having great success with Embassy Lobell this year. Fine young guy Jerry Reardon is, and apparently he learned his lessons well from one of the trotting masters in Chuck Sylvester.
Well, many people feel the most important part of the race is the finish, right? Wrong. To get to the finish line, you have to get away from the gate cleanly. Easier said than done. But as we saw in this last race, sometimes starting is not very easy. Brad Diamond has more.
You're looking at a 1988 Brougham Cadillac, but this is not the kind of car you're going to find in your neighborhood. I am sitting right now in the official starting car at Pompano Park, and with me is our official starter, Dan Coon. And Dan, tell me about this car, because you're the starter, but it takes 2 men to run this, and tell me about it.
Yeah, I think basically I have the easy part. I operate the speed of the car, and I operate the function of the wings, decide whether or not we have a recall, try and give everybody as fair a start as we can. But I think a lot of the responsibility falls on my driver, Tom Wells.
Now, you've got complete control here with your throttle of this car.
Yeah, I regulate the speed of the car with my right hand, and then I can operate the wings with my left hand, and then I can keep in contact verbally with the horseman through this small PA system. And when we're on the home stretch here, just picking the horses up, the fans might be able to hear my voice, but mostly it's directed just towards the horseman.
What's your fastest speed? What's your top speed when you let those horses go?
Well, that depends on the field, but plus or minus 2-3 miles an hour, we're at 30 to 35, depending on how fast I got to go to get out of their way.
Races can be won or lost right here at the gate. What's your biggest concern?
Well, we'd like to have them all reasonably close to the gate. You want everybody to have a fair start and a fast start and a very competitive first quarter, and who knows, you might see some real fast first quarters.
So, Gary, a look from a different perspective.
Absolutely. I've been out in the starting car several times, and it is a view that naturally most people do not get a chance to see, but it is quite a view, and it's quite a ride as well, being out in that car. Once Danny takes off and lets the horses go, and you get this kind of feeling in the pit of your stomach. It's quite an experience.
And as someone who has driven in a race, as I have, it is not as easy as it looks.
No, it certainly isn't.